Welcome to the Redefined Podcast. All right, happy Tuesday and happy podcast day to you. Welcome to the show if you're brand new. And of course, if you're an existing listener, welcome back. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. As a reminder, if you are watching the video version of this, make sure to follow or subscribe, actually. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss an episode and like this video when you're done watching it. And of course, if you're listening to the podcast version, make sure you hit the plus sign at the top of whatever app you happen to be listening on. So again, you don't miss a future episode. We have a fresh new one every Tuesday and Thursday. Now, for today, the topic is your expectations of others are your responsibility, not theirs, not theirs. So let me start by recounting a story for you that happened to me recently on my trip to New York. Now, just to preface all of this, my travels usually when it comes to business, especially a quick weekend trip, are always packed. Are always packed, and I give 100% of my attention to the people that I'm there for, which sometimes means, and I have a lot of friends of New York outside of my business. It often means that I don't get a chance to spend any time for one, or let alone even text or message that I'm in town just to say hello. And that's just how I operate, right? That's just how I operate. I give my full attention and energy to the people that I'm there for purposefully, and I personally don't want to divide that attention with other agendas, because the primary reason I'm there is to help these people, to help my teams with their business, and for people that know me closely in my business, they know that that's how I operate. And for people that know me closely outside my business, they're totally okay with it because they know that's how I operate. Now, all that said, this is not to justify or make excuses for what happened. But in this particular instance, the last time I was in New York, I had a friend who is no longer in my business, but got really upset that I didn't reach out, even just to text hi or call 5 minutes to say hello. And I understand, right? That totally makes sense. We used to be in business together, and I used to be able to, because of our business connection, used to be able to give her a lot of my time and energy when I was in New York, because that's what I was there for. And now, given that we're not partnered in business anymore, we have. I don't want to say a looser connection, but again, if I'm up there for business, I'm up there for business. So I wasn't able to get around to, messaging or texting or giving a quick call. And she got really upset by that. And, I guess justifiably so. Justifiably so. We had a conversation post event, and she expressed her hurt that I didn't reach out, and that she had this expectation of our friendship. And mind you, yeah, I think friendships, relationships should have a level of standard that every person involved in the relationship should work to meet. However, there is, again, a leeway, right? There's got to be some space for and room for things when things don't actually work out the way we expect them to. There has to be room for error when the other individual in the relationship doesn't behave or execute the way we expect them to. Again, our expectations are nobody else's responsibility but our own. And it's okay to hold people to expectations, but where it goes wrong is the judgments that we make after, right? It's the narratives and the stories that we weave in our own mind after we have deemed somebody not meeting our expectations of them. Really, really, you have to be cautious of this, because if somebody fails in your eyes to meet your expectations, you're obviously going to be in a heightened emotional state, usually negative emotional state, and that emotional state is going to cause you to, again, weave fault, to craft a story in your mind that they're not as good a friend as you thought, or that they don't care about you, or whatever the situation, right? That hurt for your expectations not being met in that relationship will create a negative story, right? A negative judgment. I urge you, number one, to give the benefit of the doubt, right? Give the benefit of the doubt. Again, not to make excuses or to justify my lack of reaching out, but it just happens. It just happens, and just as equally as she had the choice to weave a narrative that created more hurt for her, she could have also, alternatively, as a different choice, wove a narrative and wove a judgment that could have given me the benefit of the doubt. I mean, if in a friendship the other individual has to meet your expectations all the time, and if they don't meet your expectations, then you're just going to throw them under the bus. That doesn't sound much like a friendship to me. Not a really really good one. It might be a friendship that reaches maybe a transactional level, but a true long-lasting relationship, we don't hold each other to our expectations, to the point where we will judge them and we won't give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Because at the end of it, it's our choice how we feel. It's our choice then to weave whatever narrative we weave after we feel like somebody hasn't met our expectations. And if you choose to weave a negative story and to make a negative judgments, then that's still not the other person's responsibility. It's your own, because that's your choice. That's your choice. So remember, your expectations of others aren't their responsibility. They're yours. And then the judgments and the narrative that you weave after the fact, after you feel like they might have not met your expectation, is also your responsibility. And that second part, I think, is even more important, because you have to really have a lot of self-control and have a lot of self-awareness to catch yourself weaving a negative story, right? To catch yourself when you're making judgments of other people, because when you do that, you're just justifying and validating your own negative emotional state, right? And your own hurt. And really, you're torturing nobody but yourself at the end of it. And potentially, if it comes to, if it elevates to the point of conflict, then you've just lost somebody that you, before any of it, called a friend. And it's only because you were transactional about it with your own expectations, right? So that's the message for today. Again, your expectations of others are your responsibility, not theirs, not theirs. So hopefully that carries you through the rest of the week. We have a fresh new one coming to you on Thursday. So until then, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.